Eric Holder, Attorney General of the United States of America, decides that he's going to launch a new program called Smart on Crime. And this drug war has not been so smart on crime. So he'd like to re-engage in that debate. And he's got some bold new proposals. Well, let's hear him out.
This is why I have today mandated a modification of the Justice Department's charging policy so that certain low-level, nonviolent drug offenders who have no ties to large-scale organizations, gangs, or cartels will no longer be charged with offenses that impose draconian mandatory minimum sentences. They now will be charged with offenses for which the accompanying sentences are better suited to their individual conduct, rather than excessive prison terms more appropriate for violent criminals or drug kingpins.
Well, I'm split on this because I'm happy to see him go in the right direction. It was already absurd that we had these non-violent offenders rotting away in jail and costing us a tremendous amount of money. In Kentucky alone, he talked about how they are redirecting a prison construction program into rehabilitation, and over the next 10 years, it would save just the state of Kentucky $400 million. So it's positive that we're redirecting. He announced one other part of this. He said prisoners who are elderly already, who are brought in on nonviolent offenses and have served most of their sentences, we might release some of them a little early. Once again, are they not merciful? What were they doing in prison in the first place if they're nonviolent and they're elderly and they've served most of this? Come on! It's because they're warehousing these prisoners, which he addressed later as well. Now, in fact, let me give you the rest of his statements. He said, today, a vicious cycle of poverty, criminality, and incarceration traps too many Americans and weakens too many communities. However, many aspects of our criminal justice system may actually exacerbate this problem rather than alleviate it. Well, great. He went on to say mandatory minimum sentences breed disrespect for the system when applied indiscriminately. They do not serve public safety. They have had a disabling effect on communities, and they are ultimately counterproductive. Now, to give you a sense of how much damage mandatory minimum sentences have done to this country, when they were started in the 1980s to now, the federal prisons population has gone up 800%. We are by far number one in per capita imprisonment. Rwanda is number 6, Russia is number 8. We blow them out of the water. When you talk about overall incarceration, even though we're 5% of the world's population, we incarcerate 25% of the world's prisoners. 25% of all the prisoners in the world are here in the United States of America. Half of those prisoners are in on drug offenses. So has this drug war lost all control? Absolutely. Now, is the Obama administration going to fix it in a comprehensive way? That's what I'm conflicted about, because the answer to that is clearly no. This is a good step, but if they hang the mission accomplished banner as they usually do and say this is a historic reform, well, no. This will be your 5% change that Obama gives on most topics. But it's just a surface change. Will they continue to do the drug dispensary raids? Apparently so. There was no mention of them whatsoever. Is there a rethinking of the drug war in its entirety? Not remotely, not even close. Now, one more statement from Eric Holder. By reserving the most severe penalties, he says, for serious, high-level, or violent drug traffickers, we can better promote public safety, deterrence, and rehabilitation while making our expenditures smarter and more productive. Okay, that's positive, but what about all the new people we're putting into prison that on drug offenses alone, when in fact we've already seen in countries like Portugal that when you don't send them to prison, instead you give treatment, 1, you save a tremendous amount of money, 2, drug addiction goes way down, and 3, you don't load up your prisons with all these guys who then become even more violent, more criminalized when they get out of prison. This is a lose-lose in every imaginable way. Attorney General Holder begins that fix, but in a very small way. So I'm happy he's going in that direction, but there's a whole long road ahead of him, and I hope he keeps traveling it instead of stopping right here, which is, let's be honest, the more likely outcome.